it, you know.
Yeah.
We definitely spread it out a little bit around here to make sure it's at least as safe as can be.
Yeah. And so, one thing that I want to commend you on is for facing your fear of snakes, because a lot of people, and I feel like a lot of society pushes, hey, if you're afraid of something, avoid it. Like the whole like trigger warning thing. Like I understand people have triggers and like, yeah, that's understandable. But I think we've learned over time with people, the best people that get the best people, or not, I should say the best people, but the way people get over their fears the best is by exposure therapy. Hey there.
He kept saying snake, snake. He turned the corner and he loves the snakes, dude. He loves handling. He'll put his head down because he wants me to put the snake around his neck, and he
Yeah.
put his head down like that, put the snake on me. He loves holding the babies and stuff. I wish I had this exposure when he'll never be afraid of snakes.
No.
He will never have a fear for snakes, dude. He loves these things, dude. So to show him pictures of this when he's older, and I have, I have a long life of liking reptiles, but as a hardcore keeper, it's only been, about 4 or 5 years. He's going to say, hi, I'm 6 and I have 6 years as a reptile keeper, it's
Yeah.
awesome. This was little Steve Irwin in the making, dude. He's all about it.
I love Steve Irwin.
Yes,
That is so true, dude. That's awesome, though. That's
yeah,
super cool.
this
See,
is when you show up to a job and you're 20 and they're like, we want you to have 15 years experience. And he's like, well, I got you in snakes.
right? That's so awesome, man.
Yeah.
That he's so calm around it too.
Yeah, he loved them, dude.
That's super awesome. Honestly, that's one thing that I wish I could do more of is to get my son around more animals, but it's just hard with my wife being so afraid of snakes completely, and like it's I honestly I'm gonna eventually get one after the bearded dragon probably passes away, and I'll just use that tank. But
Yeah. Don't kiss this, dude. Sorry, he's kissing the snake now. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
no,
you.
you're
Yeah,
no, you're good. That's adorable though. That is
I think it's great, dude. So he's in his intrusive thoughts winning stage, is what I like to call it. So he's been around snakes forever, but he one day he was looking at snake, petting it, was looking real hard, and then just licked it. And I'm like, what thought did you have that was a good idea to lick the snake, dude? It's the intrusive thoughts winning stage, is what I call it, because he'll look you dead in the face and be like, whack, and throw something right at you, and it's like those are the intrusive thoughts of winning. So he's still learning right from wrong. He's still doing the funny, cute baby stuff, but he means well, dude.
that's super funny. I know what you mean though. My son, and it's just boys. You
Yeah, my daughter was nothing like this, dude. I got a 11-year-old, and she was the best baby ever. And I was like, bring on another one. It'll be fine. This guy's a menace, dude. He is a menace all the time, and it's so awesome.
that's us. That's
You want to go back
that's
to my
men,
mama?
dude. Men are we're unfortunately we're just stupid. We really are. We can't help it. Like we just can't help it. We do dumb stuff. Like
All the time,
I'm
dude.
pretty sure I probably would have licked the snake too. Honestly, like that's. I mean, I can't say I wouldn't.
It's so colorful and bright and stuff.
Yeah. Like, wait, is this candy? Does this taste like sugar?
The face, buddy. Quit poking their face. He's in the poking the face stage too, where he keeps
Yeah.
poking this snake's face. And I trust my animals. I love my animals, but I wouldn't even want him. You don't poke at a dog's face. You don't poke at an animal's face.
No.
So I'm like, dude, you're gonna get yourself bit, bro. You keep pissing off these animals. Like, stop poking the face. And he sees me move their head away from him, to stop him. And I think he sees oh, well, you're doing it. It's like I'm trying to stop you from poking the face.
Yeah.
Because he's always like, let me touch your eye. And I'm like even when we're doing head, shoulders, show me your eyes, he's digging his own finger in his own eye.
That's
so,
right here. Yeah.
Here, so he's trying to do the same thing to the snake, dude. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
Here, you want this? Here, there you go, buddy. Yeah, there you go, snake guy.
So reticulators they don't constrict like boas. I know a lot of people think reticulators constrict, but they really don't, right? They just anchor themselves, right?
Yeah, I mean, my rainbow boa holds on much, much tighter than these guys do. Like I said, they pretty much just use it as a balance.
Yeah.
Like they hold on just enough to get to the next place where they're going. They're very active animals. Like I've had her out, we've been on here for almost an hour now, and she's just gonna keep moving, and they'll just keep moving. I've done reptile shows, 10-hour days, 2 days, and finally at the end of 2 days, is he tickling you? Finally at the end of 2 days, they'll finally like calm down in my hand. And I don't mean like calm down, but they'll finally like, all right, I'm done moving around now.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about them is their curiosity and their playfulness, dude. Like I love the interaction that they give. I was slightly interested in ball pythons, and then I was like, I don't want something that's just going to sit in my hand and just
And
hang
ball
out there.
up.
Nothing
Yeah.
against the ball python people, and like they're great beginner animals. Like if you're about them, you're about them. But I know so many people with them, and I've seen so many to this point. It's like I hate to say it, but that snake doesn't have much of a personality. Like you might find the occasional one that has some good charisma about him or something, but every one of these have their own personality, dude. Each one of them interact in a different way, and they're truly, truly an awesome species to hang out with, dude. They really, really are.
Yeah, no, he seems like he's super active, and that's what I always liked about the red tail that I had. She was always very active. I just
Yeah, those are better too. Yeah, those are better than ball pythons. I don't understand the hype on ball pythons. Like it's just sitting there. They gave it the name ball python because it's just sitting there.
in
Like
a ball.
do a
Yeah.
flip, dude.
Yeah, no, I've talked to a couple different ball python breeders, and the one thing I do like about them is like some of the cool clown, like
Dude,
the clown
there
and
were some
pied.
amazing morphs, dude. There's a couple morphs I've seen, and I was like, I want you. But in my experience, all of them, except for a select few, as they get older, they lose that color, they lose that pattern. Like, for example, a banana. I'm probably butchering this, but it's like a banana coral glow, and she would have right. That's what I was looking at. Something crazy bright, like looked like sherbet. As an adult, it looked like this. It was like this color, and it had no pattern. I was like, how does something so beautiful as a baby turn into such a colorless adult? Like that's like humans. We start off with all this joy and wonder in our eyes, and then we become unhappy, colorless adults, dude. And it's like, why? I don't want that. Like people do that already. I don't want my animals to do that. So these are ticks, dude. When they come out of the egg, and they're like dull with color. You can see like color, you can see pattern, whatever, but every single time they shed their entire lives, they change, they get more colorful, they get more bright, they get more blacks, they whatever. Like they're always getting brighter and better. And that's why, dude, it was no contest for me. Like I have ones that like I've got her when she fit in my palm, and she was just like a grayish yellowish kind of color, and I was like, oh, cool snake. Now she's a showstopper, dude. I get more compliments on her than any other snake, and she didn't look any different than any other snake when she was born. So, when the ball pythons, they come out and like, oh my god, this is the most beautiful thing, and then they all become adults, and you're like, well, that all went to crap.
That's so interesting. That's so weird how that happens, though. Like one becomes extremely beautiful, and then one, like you said, the human comparison thing. I was literally thinking the same thing, and you said it. I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's super funny.
What's up, dude? You fall down? What do you want? You want to go back by mama? You want to go back by mama? You can't take the snake with you, buddy.
He's
Come
like,
on, go back by mama.
give me the snake. That's my snake.
Now he's rich, dude. Come on. All right. You come back. You gotta quit whining, dude. You gotta just hang out. There you go.
Hi.
Again. I'm back.
Hi, buddy. So
his name is Axel.
Axel
Cooper.
Axel Cooper.
Axel
I like
Cooper.
that. I like that.
Heck yeah.
How you doing,
He's
Axel?
either be a rock star or a felon. We haven't decided yet.
You're be wearing some kind of suit, all right? We don't know if it's a jumpsuit or.
There we go. There's the snake.
So you said you had reptiles when you were younger, but you then went over to snakes, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So what'd you start? Like what kind of started your reptile fascination?
What started the reptile fascination? It could probably be traced back to when I was a kid, living with a little kid, living with my family, older brother, and we had a creek in the back of the house. And I remember we'd go back there and we'd just catch all kinds of frogs. And one time we found like the nest of tadpoles, tiny little tadpoles. And I'm talking like hundreds of these things. And we went and we filled up buckets of water and put them in a fish tank back at the house and grabbed all these little tadpoles and put them in there and watched them turn into frogs. And then we let them loose in the front of the house. And my parents they're like, dude, it's like an infestation of frogs on the front of the house now. Hopefully they all made it back to the creek in the back and, whatever. But that's probably like my first encounter that I remember. Like, I remember catching like little snakes and always like, bugs. Like, I wasn't ever like super big on bugs, but I love the praying mantises and roly polies and stuff. Yeah, so that's car, buddy. So like I've always been fascinated with them. All right, keep hitting the button, dude. um, Yeah, it'd probably be the frogs and the tadpoles would be the first thing. And then like the first store-bought pet would probably be a Chinese water dragon was my very first one. I've always liked unique pets, dude. Like, no offense, I've never been into the bearded dragons or the ball pythons or the crested geckos. I've always like, give me the crazy reticulated python. Give me the Leachianus gecko. That's the largest gecko species in the world. Give me the gargoyles that have crazy horns on them. Like, I've always liked unique things. So that's always what's gravitated me is like the more niche, unique reptiles.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, no, bearded dragons are very vanilla.
Touch your head, buddy. Leave the head alone. Dude, you want me to keep touching your head, dude? No. Yeah, it's the snake. Leave her head alone. Just pet her. See? Just pet her, dude. Good dude.
There we go. Good job, buddy.
What time is it?
It
What time is it?
is
It's only 7.
Yeah, 7.
It's still 7. I don't know. I was about to bring up his bedtime, and he's like, "It's not bedtime."
He's like, "Not yet, buddy.
Oh,
Not yet. You can't get rid of me that easy." Yeah, no, yeah. Bearded dragons, they are very basic. They were like some of the first like household reptile pets that like everybody wanted and had, And ball pythons, I think, fall in that same kind of category when it comes down to like they're the ones that kind of broke the door open for everybody, And now
crested geckos, all that stuff, dude. Like, nothing against the animals. I love animals. I think they're cool, or whatever. But I always like to have, someone comes over, they're like, dude, what is the size of that gecko? Why is it so big? Like, yeah, you never seen a gecko like that before. Look at this crazy gecko. Like I've always been like that guy, like showing people crazy stuff that they've never seen before.
Yeah, no, that's always fun, and it's always a good conversation starter, And
don't touch the head, buddy.
The one gecko that I liked that I would suggest no one ever get was a tokay gecko.
Oh yeah, those are sick, dude.
They're so mean though, man. They are so mean. And like when I was a kid, I was like, I just watched this tokay gecko beat this pinky on the wall, and I'm like, I want that one. I don't know why. Like, that's just being immature. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I want the mean thing that's gonna bite the crap out of me over and over. Yeah, that's really what you want, man. And so it kind of taught me a lesson, but I remember I had to take it back. I was like, dude, no, this thing's bit me like 15 times, and I'm gonna end up freaking getting mad one time. So I brought it back. They took it back. I was like, I don't need the money back. I understand. I feel bad for that. But yeah, tokay gecko. I mean, they look so cool though, like blue, purple, or what is it? Blue.
They are
spots.
sick.
Like, yeah, they're really interesting animals. I don't even think the reptile house carries them anymore.
Go by mama. Go by mama. Go play with the bug by mama. Go on. Go by mama. All right. Okay, he's good. He's with mom now.
Yeah. And so, there's some of them that I would definitely say stay away from. And I think it took a little bit to kind of for the reptile people to find out what was going to stick and what wasn't.
Yeah. I have one like that too. I have a Halmahera gecko, and they're really cool. It's a really cool species. They come in, some decent, cool colors and patterns. They're not really like bred for morphs and stuff like that, to my knowledge, but they are extremely fast, dude, and they don't like really being handled. It's like the worst version of a crested gecko, dude. Like it's cool. It's beautiful. I love the animal that I have, but it's just unhandleable, dude. He's so fast. He's like, get out, leave me alone, and that's why, honestly, I really like the gargoyle geckos, because they're handleable like the cresteds. They're same exact thing as a crested, care everything, breeding everything, except for they're way cooler looking. Don't get me wrong, they got some really cool cresteds now. They got the Dalmatian ones, they got like the black ones. Like, there are some cool ones out there for sure. But I just like the gargoyles overall.
Oh shit! Did I just unplug something? Can you hear me?
Uh-oh. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, no, we're good. I put my foot on a cord and pulled my tower down, and then I pulled
Oh
the
no.
cord and pulled it back. I was like, "Uh-oh!" I felt something jerk. I was like, "Oh, please don't tell me I just unplugged something." Okay, no, we're good. Um, yeah, no, I've seen a couple crested geckos. I never saw a lot of the morphs of those though, and I think that's kind of the cool part about the reptiles is like these things can come in so many colors that like when I first was around them, it was all just the basic colors. You know what I mean? Like even I never
Right.
even heard of a leopard gecko morph yet. And granted, I'm not like fully immersed in the scene anymore, really, like with reptiles and stuff. But I still find animals absolutely like I will turn on an animal documentary over a lot of things. Besides, the
Yeah.
only thing that trumps an animal documentary is a history documentary, unfortunately, with me.
There you go. There you
And
go.
so, but yeah, no, there's like the even still like even with like household reptiles, there's not like a easy place for anyone to go to kind of get information on them. You know what I mean? Like it's
No,
still very
no.
spread out, and like I don't know if you know of anywhere that like you found is very good information that and like it was helpful to you starting out. Because I know with me, like when I was growing up, I just went and bought the books. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and then
Right,
read
right.
the books.
I got books too. uh,
Like my daughter was digging through some of my old stuff and goes, "Daddy, look, it's Drogon," or maybe she said Grogu because maybe it was even further back than I remember. She said one of the two names of the two bearded dragons, and I was like, "Yeah, sweetie, that's how Daddy learned everything he knows about bearded dragons." I wasn't able to look it up online, because yeah, it was on there, but it was still to a point where it's like, "Oh, who do I trust?" And now like we're almost back to that point again, to where it's like there's a lot of people talking and saying they know things, and it's like
yeah.
you always got to be careful who you listen to, because even like with carpentry and like with construction, there's a lot of people on YouTube who will they sound great, it can look good in a
Right.
far away picture, but then you hear them say some shit and you're like, wait, some stuff. Sorry, they hear them say some stuff, and
Sorry.
and you're like, wait, they're not explaining that correctly. How?
Right.
Wait, no, and then you start and you go back a little bit, like, wait, I missed this earlier. How did I miss that? And then like pretty much the whole video falls apart. And it's like, wait, I almost listened to this dude, and he's doing like
Right.
15 things wrong that I just clocked myself. And so it's like, because like I always, whenever I'm doing something, I always like, okay, let me do a little refresher on this before I dive too far into it. Just like with
Yeah.
heights and things like that, and code and stuff. Because I mean, code obviously varies between places, but you can still get a good range, if you can't remember what it is. And so, obviously, knowing exactly what that specific city requires is usually the step you go. But it sucks digging through some of those online documents for cities, and
Yeah, for sure.
when you can't get a hold of them. And so, getting a frame of reference and just going to the top side of it is usually a quick fix for it. But yeah,
My recommendation for that dude, because this was actually a big hurdle for me because as a man, as a construction worker, like I don't like looking for advice. I don't really like, I've always been like a let me figure it out on my own kind of guy. Like let me do it my way and figure out my own reviews on it or whatever. So like that was an incorrect way of thinking. There's always someone smarter out there. There's always someone with better information. So when I finally realized that was one of my flaws and I got over it, my number one recommendation to anybody trying to become a reptile keeper, breeder, hobbyist, whatever you want to play part in homing these animals, find a mentor, dude. Like, and it goes against what I used to believe in. And finding a mentor should be a hard process. It should be somebody that's 100% transparent, somebody that can show you anything at any time of the day, will answer any question. I'm not saying like always there for you nonstop, but like if you ask a question and they like beat around the bush or they don't give you a direct answer, that probably shouldn't be your mentor. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, okay, for example, we deal with super dwarfs a lot. If I'm like, hey, let me see the parents, I want to see the size of the parents, like I want to know how big they are, all that. And like, oh, well, we don't have the pictures of them. It's like, okay, well, that's a red flag. You know what I'm saying? Like just little things like that. But the main point is find somebody that you can trust that you see that has great looking animals, that has great looking care, something that catches your eye, like I really admire that about that person, and just ask them, be like, hey, I have a lot of questions, and I'm gonna continue have questions as I and be honest with them, be like, this is the journey I want to take. Would you help me get there correctly and safely? And as somebody who's been on both sides, who's asked somebody to be there for them, and has people ask me to be there for them, I love it both ways, and it creates such a great environment, because even the mentor can learn stuff from the person they're mentoring. You can always learn stuff and bounce ideas off to each other, and it becomes like my mentor is now my homie. Like, that's my friend. Like, he's not my mentor, that's my guy.
Yeah.
And it started off as like I literally paid this guy every month to talk to me, to teach me. Now, like, I have drawings from his children on my wall. His family comes and sleeps at my house, and I go sleep at his house. Like, that's my guy. And he started off as a guy that I paid to teach me things, and now it's my homie, like I said. So that was probably the biggest help that I found. And once I got to helping the snakes, I reached out for helping the geckos, and it really, really changed, because, like you said, there's 6 different YouTube shows that will all tell you 6 different ways to do the exact same thing. And everyone claims that their way is the best way. And even any good mentor is going to tell you that just because I do it this exact way doesn't mean that's going to work for you in the exact situation. Your needs are different, your animal needs are different, your climate's different, your house is different. Even right down the street could be a different care for the same animal, because every animal is different. So if you ever get somebody that's like, you have to do it this way, or you need to do it that way, and they don't ever like listen to reason or change or anything like that, that's not a good mentor. You want somebody that's gonna, see obstacles and work with you individually. And that really, really helped me as becoming a breeder, and being more comfortable getting deeper into the hobby as a hobbyist, and more comfortable owning more animals.
Honestly, even outside of animals and hobbies, that is just a great piece of advice right there in general. Like, honestly, like, you can apply that in every section of your
I
life
mean,
and it will make you better. So
yeah.
that right there, that truly is, and that just hit home with me. It really did, because it's like, there's different things that I'm the type of person where if I if I don't know I can do it, I'm gonna go make sure I know I can do it. Like, I that's how I've always been with my cars. I've learned how to do everything on them kind of by myself, and like I've sought out random mentors that I never really thought about. But like, my buddy's dad taught me how to do brakes and rotors, and I just started picking up things on my own after that. But it's because he showed me, like, he was very detailed. He was a teacher, and so like, he walked me through everything. He told me, okay, this is this thing, this is that. I always knew like the names of stuff from randomly working with my dad and stuff, but unfortunately, my dad didn't have the time that this man now had, because he was retired. And so
Yeah.
like, that I've had a lot of different mentors in different parts too. So like, but thinking about it, he's probably one of the most ideal mentors that I think I've ever had in my life, because of how detailed he was, and how patient he was, and how just willing he was to let me make a mistake, and then, hey, this is the right way to do it. You know what I mean? Because, and then like you said, I don't think I really taught him anything, maybe besides how much of an idiot, how much of an
I didn't
idiot.
teach that old man nothing.
Yeah, no. Besides how much of an idiot I was. I mean, outside of that, you might have learned a little bit about
Patience, you
me.
don't know. Like, that's the cool thing. He definitely took values from your guys' relationship that you may never know or understand. Like, he could be telling his old timer friends, like, man, that kid was stupid, but he taught me how to move a little slower, or
Yeah,
something. He
yeah,
he took something away from that relationship, whether you see it or not.
yeah. No, definitely. Give me one second. Yeah. Oh, it's my son. My son was knocking on the door. I just hear him go, "Sissy." He's a funny one. But stop, Luca. Sorry, I don't know if you can even hear it, but I know that
No.
when I went back into editing, I had like a 5-hour podcast, 6-hour podcast with this beautiful individual, and I heard the knocking on the door, but I didn't think you could hear it on the recording. But when I went and edited, you could hear all the pounding on the recording. I was like, oh, come on. But so yeah, so now I just acknowledge it. Um, so yeah, no, man, and I hope I did teach him something. I don't know what I would have, but I understand the reverse side of that too. Like, I've shown, like, anytime you teach someone something, you strengthen your skills in that area as well. And like you said, one of the main reasons I do this podcast is because everybody has something to learn from, or like everyone has something to give, to provide. Everyone has a different life experience that you may not have to then go through that life experience then because of that person. Or you might learn something from them, like that whole mentor thing. That would have never happened if I wasn't talking to you right now. Like I would have never had the epiphany that I'm having right now about a couple situations. And so it's like it's always a great thing to open yourself up and to kind of pull your ego back a little bit and say, hey, I am not an end all say all. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I look at it like my daughter's like, I can't wait to get older. I was like, I can't wait to get younger. You know, like, and it's kind of like the way I trick myself into being younger is by just seeking out what I don't know. And you know what I mean? And
Right.
by that way, it humbles me in a way that I don't I don't think I was humble most of my life. I was always a little cocky little.
Yeah, same. Very hard-headed, very cocky, arrogant. Some would say a punk as a child.
Yeah.
But as I get older, I have kids. I realize that there are much better people in this world than I that I have a lot to learn from, and it definitely helped my life turn around for sure, dude. It definitely like did a 180 from being a closed cell in your own little world, which you're not, to like, wow, like there is so much more out there that I've closed off by having this mindset. I'm an idiot. I should stop having this mindset. And it's crazy. It's crazy what a mindset will do for your life and your family's life. And like how much just switching that mindset. It sounds easy. It's not always easy.
Oh no.
It's not always an easy process. But once you can break that and switch that mindset, it's like your life will skyrocket for
You'll
sure.
you'll open a lot of doors, you know.
Yeah.
And I always say knowing something and doing it are still two different beasts completely, because there's a lot of things I know that I don't apply still to date. Like, and it's just not an easy process. It takes time and to get there. And and I think you can probably attest to this, like with your business. It takes time to get to where you're gonna want to be. You have your ambitions of wanting to do the build out in the garage, which, I mean, you're a carpenter, you're gonna do it. I know you'll do it. It's just everything takes time. And I think one big thing I had a big misconception with growing up is, hey, no, it's how fast can I get this done? No, it's about how I can get it done and get it done right.
Right.
And because you can do a lot of things really quick, but eventually all those corners you skip are going to keep adding up on you, and they're going to eventually come and pull back on you in one way or
Absolutely.
another. And so, and you even said it, you take your time, you spend the money where it needs to be spent correctly, like the lighting. And someone that was rushing through this type of situation might not have done that and could have had one of those bad outcomes that you have so thankfully, knock on wood, hasn't happened to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so
Right.
it's a marathon, not a race. And that took me a while to understand too. And so, with you, what do obviously you said you have the garage ambition, but what are the other, you said you were looking at some like leopard geckos, but are there any other snakes or any other, even outside of reptiles, or any other animals that interest you that you've been like, hey, I might get one of those one day?
So before the animals, I was always into like exotic dogs. Like my dog is a tricolored bully, right? It's a pit bull terrier, whatever. So he's certified. I have all this paperwork. Very expensive dog. Um, and my dream dog. I got him. I love him. He's great. And I wanted to breed him. So I did have two litters, and man, it was not for me, dude. Breeding dogs is not for me. The way that they treat the puppies, what they do to untreated puppies, like the just the whole community. Like, every community has its good and bad people, but the dog breeding community is not where my heart was, dude. I was like, you people do not care about these animals. I don't want to be categorized. Like, I remember when had my first litter or something, like I'd get the random two people on there like, there's animals in the shelter. You're a piece of garbage. How dare you breed these pit bulls? And I was like, well, first off, he's a purebred, very expensive animal. Find one in the shelter and I'll buy 6 of them. You're not going to find this guy in the shelter. But at the same time, it's like, I I don't want to be looked at as that kind of person, dude. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, look at this scumbag breeding dogs. Like,
See,
no, I did it because I loved it. I want to make more of them. You know what I'm saying? But like, it just wasn't for me. The community is bad. The outlook on is bad. I was like, I am definitely not a dog breeder. So I got my boy fixed, and he's a great pet. We love him to death. But I will not breed dogs anymore. As far as any other animals, no. Like, I like. I really like what I have. I definitely have more pets that I haven't acquired yet. Like, I really want a blue tree monitor or a green tree monitor. Always been on my list. I want a dwarf. What are they called? A dwarf canine lizard. It's like the females have the real orange head and they turn real green on the body. They get massive and they're half aquatic and half on land or whatever. So you can build a tank that's like half underwater and that's like there are animals that I would love to own, and when we build that facility outside, I'll have a little more room to get more pets. But as far as breeding, we're still new to breeding. We have all of our breeders that we bought. We're still in the process of having our first stuff. So right now, I don't think I want to take it anywhere else. I just want to make the babies we have and keep it where we're at for now.
yeah, what was that gecko or what was the lizard you just said? The last one, the
I
one
think it's called a caiman lizard.
came.
I don't think it's a dwarf. I think it's called a caiman lizard. And the males don't get very colorful, but the females have bright orange heads. They look like a rhino head, dude. It's sick without the horn. And then the colors are just really, real beautiful on the body. And they get about like this long. And it's the one of the ones that like swim in the water and like they go like this, dude. Like I just always thought like give that thing a massive pond and like a 6 foot enclosure and like just give it the works. Same with the blue tree monitor. Like I would never own one and put it in any cage I have here. I would only buy one if I had like a 4 foot by 6 foot by 3 foot like boxed home sick thing to put it in, because I don't want to breed them. I don't want to get a pair of them and do all that. I want it as a pet and I want to give it the best life when I get it as a pet. So there's definitely animals that are on my list to eventually have one day.
So, one animal that the one guy brought over, from Crosstown Exotics named Mike Levins. I think I don't think I sent his video over to you. I sent you the two ball python guys. But he had an anaconda, a green anaconda, and he pulled it out, and it was cool. It was cool looking, but it got him twice within like he even said he's like it's a baby still, so we still had to get it acclimated to us. He's like I wouldn't bring this to a show. He's like, but I brought it here because I thought it's obviously and I was like that's cool. I was like I'm fine with that, and but like literally I was like it got him twice real quick, and it's just like it was like nothing to him at that point because he's always been extremely into the reptile world and just like he breeds a lot of bugs too and stuff like that for feeders for his animals and he does reptile shows for and like educational stuff for children and for young kids
Nice.
and like I love that side of it too because like you said it's always you could tell he gets so enthusiastic about it because he loves when a kid gets interested in it because unfortunately with I know me growing up there wasn't anyone doing that type of stuff. There was no one that like you see reptiles a lot more now, and it's great because they
100%.
are so cool, and like they always got a bad rap. Unfortunately, the Bible did it for snakes.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's snakes are honestly one of the coolest animals, and like seeing how like active it is. That's one of the cooler things too, is because even bearded dragons, they all have their own personalities, and like some can be pretty rude. Like
Yeah.
mine's like
I always see the ones that like wave. They like wave their little arm. I always see like little videos. Like that's so cute, little guy waving.
so that's actually it being submissive, if I'm not mistaken. That
Okay,
because that's what's happening. It's if it that's what it does when it's submissive. But right there,
that's
it
awesome.
depends on what some of them are doing it to its own reflection because they see the other one like, oh crap, no, leave me alone. You're like the same size as
Yeah,
me. I don't want to try
right.
you. But then you'll pull them out of the tank and they'll do it to you, and then it's like, oh, okay, you're a cool little guy. See,
Heck
mine,
yeah.
the one the one that passed away, she was awesome. She would chill on you, she would run around, but she would like would never run away from you. The one that I have now, no matter how much I handle him, he's like, just leave me the hell alone. I don't want to be
Yeah,
bothered. Like like, don't
it
take me out of the
happens.
tank.
It,
And
it's nothing that I've racked my brain at this for a while because I have 18 snakes I have one female that chooses violence daily, dude. She is a violent one. I love her to death. I've tried feeding her less. I've tried feeding her more. I've tried taking her out more. I've tried taking her out less. I've tried many things, dude. Warmer cage, colder cage. She chooses violence, dude. And there's nothing, like I love her. She's not going anywhere. She's here hanging out, but that's just who she is. That's her personality. She's like, hey, don't mess with me. I'm top dog around here. And that's what it is, I have 17 other ones that are puppy dogs that are all cool. And then I got one that's like, everyone stand back. I'm taking the feisty one out. My daughter, Alex, my wife, they all know. I'm like, spicy one's coming out.
Oh, I was gonna be like, wait, you're talking about your wife right now? No. 'Cause I know some mean females in my life, and my wife is one of them. That's for sure. So, no, I'm joking though. I was totally joking. I don't even know your wife, so I hope she's not mad at me. I'm pretty sure she can hear me.
Yeah,
But
she's in the phone. She probably
yeah,
hears us.
yeah, you definitely killed my joke when you said even I tell my wife to watch. I was like, darn it! Oh man, that would have been a zinger. Um, but no, yeah, man, they have their own personalities. They're like people, you know what I mean? And that's what like I think a lot of people don't understand is they want them to be this obedient, mindless thing, and it's like, if you want that, then you shouldn't get an animal. You shouldn't have a child either because they're the same thing. Each child will have its own personality. Each pet will have its own personality. Even if they're really cool, they're really awesome. Like golden retrievers. You will eventually get a golden retriever who's just like, leave me alone. I don't want to be bugged. You know what I mean? Like they're one of the most playful dogs ever, but eventually you're gonna see one, and it's the way that the kind of dice rolls. My first bearded dragon, coolest lizard, and like I literally would walk around with him on my shoulder, and he would just hang out, change shoulders every once in a while. But yeah, for some reason, Drogon just is like, dude, leave me alone. I'll run around my tank and play with myself. Like
I think the big thing too with the fear of snakes and I try to do a lot of non-reptile shows, right? It's not like you met me at the tattoo convention, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I find reptile shows are great for sales. We sell reptiles there. It's a reptile show. People are there to buy reptiles. It's fun. I love the environment. I love the good conversation, but I get much more joy and enrichment out of non-reptile shows. Getting people that are afraid of reptiles, that are not that doesn't expect to come and see reptiles because, like, when I'm giving my speech to people, it's like you have to learn the body language of the snake. You have to learn what the signs are. Just like a dog. A dog tucks its ears, it tucks its tail, shows its teeth. There are signs that you're going to get bit. A snake, yes, they're quick. Yes, they move quick. But 9 times out of 10, there's going to be some signs that if you can pick up on it, you can avoid getting bit. And once you learn those signs and you learn, like, there's even this female, maybe not this one. She's never ever been like, don't hold me. She loves being held. But there's other females, other males I have. I opened the cage and I was like, okay, you haven't eaten a week. I'm not going to handle you today because super, S bag, quick tongue movements, steady head. That he means business right now. So I'm like, okay, we're not handling you today. So we're gonna feed you, let you chill for a couple days. Then I take him out, and he's as happy as can be, wrapping around me, all happy. So even the nicest of animals, even the best dogs, like every dog has its day. Every animal has its day, whether it's a reptile, whether it's a lizard, snake, cat, whatever. Some days it's gonna be like, hey, I don't want to be messed with today. Other days it's like, hey, let's hang out all day. So as soon as you learn that body language and you get rid of the fear, it was, like I said, I've had many, many different reptiles. The snakes were no contest. The first, dude, the first day, this right here. I know, like some people be like, oh my god, it's around his neck, it's killing him. This is such a therapeutic feeling to have that weight just on your traps and like on your shoulders, just comfortably sitting there. They're warm. They're just like snugging you. Like I can breathe. I can stick my fingers in there. She's just chilling. And like it's so therapeutic to hang out with these animals, dude, to like interact with them and stuff. And it was no contest to why I wanted to choose to work with these animals a lot.
And so, what, as you were talking about like the signs of a snake being like aggressive or like, hey, don't mess with it when you see these things.
Yes.
You mentioned the S thing. What are a couple other ones? Because like I've owned a snake. I owned a very big snake. She was 7 feet, and like I never even completely understood. Like I understood like some body language of it, and I feel I'm pretty good with animals. Like you can tell when animals like, hey, I'm cool. Like
Yep.
Weird story. This is a side tangent. I'll circle back to the signs of a snake being in a temperamental mood. But one day I was driving on the street. I'm like, what the hell are these dogs doing out on the street? Like there was like, I'm like, they all look so much alike. And there was like, and then I'm like, wait, there's more down the street. I'm like, did a breeder's kennel get loose? Like, what's going on? So I pull the car over. I'm with my mom, and I'm with she was my fiance at the time, or my girlfriend at the time, but my wife. And I get out of the car. I'm like, here, boy, here, boy. And like, I got down, and like, the thing was cool. Like, it came close. And as it got close, I'm like, that's not a fucking dog. That's a fox. That's a fox. I was like, whoa, whoa. And I backed away. I was like, why was that fox so cool with this? But
That's
I
awesome.
could tell that it was like the thing was nice. I knew it, but like it's a wild animal. Like I'm not gonna invite this wild animal to get in my face right now. You know, like as soon as I realized it wasn't a dog and they were foxes, but dude, it was the weirdest thing. I guess it happens over in Elsip a decent amount, where like the foxes just kind of overrun the place for a little bit, and I don't know why it happened, but yeah, no, and so like I understand animals' body language, but I never even thought about like, okay, what are some of the signs that maybe I'm not thinking about that would cause a snake to kind of just be aware of like, hey, this thing's in a temperamental mood, leave it alone for the day.
So everybody knows like the classic S, right? So like when it's the front end of the animal is scrunched up in an S shape, it's striking, right? But there's also the tongue flicks, right? So a tongue flick, right? If it's going in and out really fast, right? Like just noom 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 noom. From my understanding, right? Like I'm not a genius, it could be completely made up, but this is what I've been told. When it's going in and out really fast, that means it's more like defensive smelling. It's like okay, like I'm alert, I'm stressed or whatever. But if this tongue comes out and it's like a diving board and it's just like out for a while, it's just smelling and hanging out.
Yeah.
Also the stillness of the head. You know, like how she's curring around, being curious, whatever. If it's motionless and it's just sitting there like locked on something, that could be a sign like, okay, you know, you're not moving. Especially because I use a snake hook. Every time I go in a cage, I use a snake hook. I give 2 taps on the head, a little rub, and then I hook them out. And if I give that tap and the rub, and normally by then they start moving around like, okay, it's playtime, it's not food time. But if they're just sitting there locked after I do it, I'm like, okay, you want to eat or you don't want to be played with, you know? So like that's one of the ones that I use often is like how still the head is and how locked they are in the head. Um, but yeah, those are like the main signs that I use to see like, and then you have the tail too that a lot of people don't know. Like if the tail is whipping a lot, especially if she's peeing or spraying, 100% don't mess with her. She doesn't want to be messed with. But any like tail movement, like if her tail's like flipping around like this and she's not wrapping on anything, you know she's in a bad mood to remove her from the situation or whatever.
Yeah. Interesting. The tail thing. That's crazy. Because I think a lot of people might interpret that as like they would think of a dog.
A dog wagging its tail, yeah.
Yeah.
No, like a
So
rattlesnake shaking its tail, like it's the same concept with other snakes too. You know, if their tail is like this, they are displeased with the current situation for sure. That's usually like extreme displeasure when they're doing that. It's usually like when I introduce a male into the female's cage and she's not ready for the female or the male, she'll start doing that, wagging her tail, and I know time to get that male out. She's not ready.
and so you also said the spraying thing. All female spray? All female snakes?
Oh,
Or at least all
yeah.
the
All the female snakes will start spraying if they're uncomfortable in their situation. Like I have several females that I'll put a male in and they'll just sit there. They won't, pay no mind to them. But, some females will spray because they're uncomfortable and they don't want them in there.
huh.
So they all are capable of doing it, but it's all down to personality and individuality with them if they're okay with the male being in there or not.
Yeah. That's interesting. Huh. Do males spray at all?
No, no, no. They just like to breed. Males
Yeah.
love breeding.
But there's no situation like where a snake would get freaked out and spray like a male?
No, 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 no,
Oh,
no.
huh. Interesting. Because I know there's what like deer do scat or whatever it is, right? Is or something
Yeah,
like that?
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, you might get peed on. You might get like peed or pooped on, like it because like the geckos, the Leachianus geckos, that's like their defense mechanism. Like, if you're handling them, they will literally poop on you to try to get you to let them go. And what happens when they poop on you? You let them go and you clean yourself up, you clean up the mess. Now they're back in their home. Whether they're smart or not, they know it worked. It's learned behavior. It's instinctual behavior, whatever. I poop, this guy lets me go, I go back home. It's kind of like that thing. And a snake will absolutely do that too, but so will a dog or a cat. Like if they're mad enough, you ever see a dog get super excited, you pet his belly and he just pees?
Yeah.
It's because he's overstimulated, he's like, oh, I'm too excited, I gotta pee,
That's super funny. No, yeah, that's funny. I mean, I've definitely had an iguana that pooped a lot. Unfortunately, we were young and it passed away quicker than it probably should have from unknowledgeable handling. I mean,
going up my nose. Snake's trying to go up my nose, dude.
Freaking snakes are explorers for sure.
Come on, dude. What are you doing now? I thought you was mama. He's back, and he's back, causing more menace.
He wants to be around the snake. You can't.
So bad, dude.
That's
so
awesome.
bad. He loves playing with the snakes, dude. Like I have to tell him, snake time's over. We're done playing with snakes now, because he just wants to play with the snakes all day. He says gecko, and stuff like that. But what was it? Snake was his second, third word he said?
Yeah.
Second or third word. Mama, dada, and snake. But so when this was my fault, I would say snake, 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 snake. So he started saying nis, 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 and he would say it backwards because my dumb self was saying it so many times. I was confusing the little guy. I would never just say snake. I'd always be like snake, snake, snake. And he his little baby talk, he found that into nis. But now he's finally getting to it where he's saying snake, So it's real cute. But yeah, literally second to third word was snake, dude.
That's awesome. Honestly, that snake is definitely a good one. She has just been so docile and moving around and
I'm not kidding you. When I can put this snake away, I can go. You can point at a cage, I can grab out another one, and it'll be the same experience. They are so misunderstood, and they are so it is way more common to find a not happy snake than it is a happy snake, dude. It truly is. I bring her out a lot just because I love her colors, and I get a lot of compliments on her. But I could take a male out that was just in with a female, his most aggressive time, and I'll give him to the baby, and he'll be just fine. They truly are just super misunderstood as far as oh, I should be careful. Don't put it around my baby. Don't touch the snake. They're not like that. I've had these snakes heavily now for about 4 years.
He's put the tail in his mouth.
Don't put the tail in your mouth. I've had a heavy amount of snakes for about 4 years now. I have been bit.
No, don't bite the snake.
Did you bite the snake, dude? Three or four times? Maybe I'll say maybe 4 times max, right? And one of them was the baby. That was my fault. Quit touching the head, dude. One of them was the baby, which was my fault because I stuck my hand in there. One of them was my big 9-foot female. It was feeding time, and it was right before I fed them, and I had a bunch of people over. I'm playing reptile guy. I wasn't I love playing reptile guy. I love taking the animals out, so I had her out, and I went to put her away. She went in the cage, turned around, and grabbed me, dude. It grabbed me up, dude. Big girl, 9 feet. What, dude? She's right here. 9 feet isn't really a big reticulated python, but it's still a sizable snake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So she grabbed me, wrapped up my arm. I got her to let go. No issues there. And so that wasn't, that was a feeding issue. And then the other one was the male, one of my really, really nice males. I took him out of a female's cage, and he bit me right on my knuckle. Hey, I'm not done. Put me back in there. So I put him back in there and left him in there for a day. And every time I've been bit, within 24 hours, you completely forget that you were even bit because it's so sharp. They're in and out. It's more scary than it is painful, 1,000%. But it's so far in between. I'm handling these animals, at least 2 times a week. Minimum 2 times a week, I'm handling a snake. Not every snake. I have a lot of animals. I alternate. I do what I can to, hold everybody. But I clean cages every single week. So minimum every week, every snake is going in and out of its cage. Once a week to once every other week max. It's I have a lot of chances to get bit, and it just doesn't happen the way that people think that it happens. I'm out here dodging bullets, owning snakes, dude. It's not like that at all, dude. It's really really not like that.
Yeah, no, I think people here, because it's kind of like what reviews. A good review will get what, one person's attention. A bad review will get 100. You know what I mean?
100%.
And so
100%.
it's that parody you see, or not parody, but that anomaly you see
Goodbye, mama again.
that
Goodbye, mama.
it people.
Goodbye, bye. Goodbye, bye, buddy.
Bye, buddy.
He
And
said bye. Oh, he's waving off camera.
and so people forget about that, even with like dog breeds. Like this dog is a Belgian Malinois and a cattle dog, and my wife was instantly like, oh, they're really bad with children. They're really bad with children. I'm worried about it. And like because I've been talking about getting one of those breeds for the past like maybe year now, maybe 6 months. I said that was going to be our next dog that we're getting, and as soon as I saw him, it like clicked. It was like, no, the dog's going home with me, and it all transpired exactly how I saw it happening. And this dog already follows my kids around. Like I told him, Titan, go watch Skylar while she goes downstairs, because she doesn't like going downstairs when it's late by herself. And so he walks right with her already. Like he's sleeping at the end of their beds. Like he walks up and just licks my 2-year-old son in the face, like, and just rolls by his feet, like, and so gently. He won't pass my son on the stairs already. Like, I'm like, wait, aren't you? What about those reviews that said they're so horrible with children? This dog won't pass him on the stairs when our other 3 dogs would just plow right by him. Like,
yeah, right. And the most dangerous dog is the kindest and the gentlest.
Yeah, and no, like
I like pit bulls. It's the same rap, dude. How dare you get a pit bull when you're about to have a baby? It's gonna maul the baby. I'm like, you know what it does to that baby, dude? It licks its ear and then curls up in a ball and says, "Pet me." Like my pit bull is the biggest lap cuddling dog ever, dude. Like he does see other furry animals and chooses violence. He would like to kill every other furry animal on this earth. And it is what it is. I used to socialize him so well too. Like I brought him everywhere. Like how I bring snakes everywhere is how I brought that dog, dude. I brought him when I used to drink and go out. I used to bring him to the bar. I bring him to the farmers markets every Saturday, which is full of dogs and people. We'd go to the parades and Oktoberfest. Like he was so well socialized. And I think it's because I didn't fix him, and I had those breeds, and he became a dad and had some litters or whatever, and he developed those hormones. Because now, like, he sees another animal and he just wants to kill it, and I was like, dude, that's not who you were. You were such a nice, kind dog, So, that's unfortunate. But as far as like the kids go, dude, the baby jumps all over him, dude, tackles him. The 12-year-old throws him around. Like, he is the biggest cuddling pillow you can ever imagine, dude. He would never. I clip his nails by myself, dude. He is such a submissive little dog, dude. And I mean, he's stocky. He's a muscular guy, but he's so submissive. And it's just the stigma, dude. Like people do say, like it's not bad dogs, it's bad owners. And there's a truth to that. But at the same time, there's always that animal that just chooses violence. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might say I'm a bad owner because this girl always wants to eat me. But I have 18 others, 17 others that are nice. So is it me, or does that one choose violence? Now, if I only had that one animal that was always trying to kill me, people might look at me as a bad keeper. Like, oh, he's just keeping the animal wrong. Like, well, it's just the animal chooses violence. It's not me, So there's always a reason for everything,
Yeah, there's those personalities, and just like humans, animals have them too. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I believe animals have consciences. I do. I think that there's something there. There's definitely is. Most of them have their forms of communication. Like, I mean, we know that coyotes, they howl for roll call, and when the females don't hear as many howls back, they will then produce more pups the next litter. It's like, that's a form of communication. That's a form of communication. And I guarantee that there is something with snakes with their hisses that are at different pitches that we don't pick up on. You know what I mean? Yes. And so it's like, and I guarantee it's like that with lizards. I don't know what noises they're making, but we also didn't know that plants make noises.
It's funny that you say that too, because when a snake, like I'll have her out for a while, and like on a warmer day or whatever, she'll start taking her head and like digging her head like right here into your neck, and or she'll start breathing in your ear and go like, and she'll do it right here on your neck. And like I remember the first time it happened, I'm like, what in the hell is that? Like, what is going on? And like it happens more and more, and I don't know scientifically what it means, but I'm dead set belief that like that is a sign of them saying, "Hey, we're cool." Like, "Hey, like I'm comfortable with you. I'm cuddling up with you." Like they all wrap around the neck and this, but like when they put their head right there and just like hang out and like trust you, or like try to go in your ear and breathe in your ear and stuff, like it's to me it's definitely like, hey, you know, we're homies, or you know, it's like their form of saying like this is cool, you know.
And there's that stuff you pick up on when you're around like a breed of animals, or a species of animals, I should say. Even breed though. When you're around them enough, you start to understand them, and it's weird because like you pick up on communications, and like there's definitely a whole lot of communicating that's going on. Like, you know, we've always said, oh, there's verbal and then there's non-verbal communication. Yeah, there's also communication that we have no idea is happening. Like we just identified that humans, what, you know how you can always feel when someone's looking at you?
Yeah.
No, it's because there's a chemical reaction going on in your head telling you, hey, there's photons that are coming in that are going at you and going back out.
Dude,
be alert.
Have you ever seen the like the breakdown on how we perceive like sight, like how we actually physically see, like I don't know how true it is again because it's on the internet, but I seen a thing and it was like the only reason we see what we see is because of what our mind reflects off of images and stuff like that. Because there's this place that's training kids to like give them a stack of cards, and they'll be like, this is a green card, this is a purple card, this is an orange card, and they're completely blindfolded. And it's like, how do you know what kind of card and what color it is? Like they're doing obstacle courses while they're fully blindfolded, and they're trying to like train a new sense in these kids. And like it was a video I seen, I was so unbelievably fascinated by this concept. Like we really don't need our eyes to see. It's only what we perceive in our minds. And like these kids can literally tell you exactly what they're looking at, and like the teacher was standing up at a board and pointing like, what's this? And the kid's completely blindfolded and like, you're pointing at this, you're pointing at that. And I'm like how is that even possible? But there it is, like they're all doing it. And it really blew my mind on like how that all works, dude.
And so I do believe that there's plenty of things that are going on around us that we pick up on. I think like you know, obviously we have Wi-Fi, we have Bluetooth. Those are all running off of airwaves that are just frequent around us that we don't see, that they're there though. And we are able to piggyback this frequency on these things so that we can pick it up with our devices. You don't think our bodies can do that? You know what I mean? Like to me, it's like when you truly think about it, if we've mastered it, our body most likely could already do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we've developed on this planet for so long, and there is a thing that we see, like in pigs. When pigs are domesticated, they lose their tusks and stuff like that. But as soon as you put them back out in the wild, pretty quickly they gain them back again. And it's like, wait, whoa, what? How do they know? Like, you know what I mean? But it's like that's a physical example. You remove humans from their existence of how we've existed on this planet for whatever you want to believe. I believe it's thousands beyond what we understand. I am a diehard Christian too, by the way. I do believe in Jesus Christ and everything, but like I also do believe that I don't think our history is exactly what our history books have been telling us. I am like a Graham Hancock person, if you want to call it that, to make it simple, if that makes sense. I believe in there's an ancient civilization that we don't know about and understand completely. So I do believe in that, and I do think that, you know, I don't think the two conflict with each other. I think a lot of people would argue with me on that one, but so like, you know, I do believe that, but I also believe that since we've been in nature for thousands of years, and all of a sudden now we're in these boxes with doors and walls that we're depleting our natural senses. Our natural senses that 100%. Like, and like you can kind of see it from people that are completely sheltered in life. They don't have social skills. They don't have, I guess, I mean, common sense ain't too common anymore, and I think that kind of speaks to it. You know what I mean? We're losing common sense. We're losing natural instincts of natural intelligence and genuine curiosity, and those are instincts that we're losing because of our isolation from our predetermined environment, or not predetermined, but our previous environment. And so
Right.
like I think I could truly see it. Like if you, I mean, to go real tinfoil hat on it, I mean, there's declassified CIA files that talk about remote viewing, how everyone has the capability inside of them. Really, what that's saying is that's an instinct that we've lost touch with. I don't know how true that is. I mean, I feel like the CIA could be like, "Hey, let's fuck with some people and put this file out." Sorry for the language. Sorry. But you know, I do feel like there's some, you know, there's some gotcha moments with some stuff they put out. But um, yeah, there's a lot of crazy things that we don't understand, that we like. Just in recent years we found out that plants can communicate with noises. They make clicking noises, certain plants, and they communicate with each other. We also know that they have the equivalent of a nervous system. They feel pain. We also
Yeah,
know
I've
that.
I've always believed in that, dude. Like I've never been a religious man. Maybe I should be because I've lived a really really good life. But I've always believed in the reuse of energy. I always believe like when you die, your energy, like you might have a soul. Like I've seen them like weigh a human before he dies and after dies, and the soul leaving the body. And the pictures, like you maybe you do have a soul that leaves your body, but I do know the energy of your physical being goes in the ground and gets reused. And it get like if you don't believe me, when your animal dies, what do? You go put it in the backyard. What happens in that backyard? Your plants, your grass, anything you put right there grows amazingly. And that's because that carcass, that body reuse the energy in life. So now, a bug comes by, eats that grass. Now a bird comes by and eats that bug, and the energy keeps getting used and recycled. So, like, do I think we're going to remember being a plant or a piece of leaf or anything like that? No, probably not. But I do know when you die, if you get put in a box, you're doing the world a disservice. You should bury yourself in the ground and let your body be reused by the ground. And eventually that wooden box in 15, 20 years is going to break down and you will become part of the earth. You're just prolonging what should happen anyways. And that's the earth taking back the energy that it gave you to give you life.
And
Somewhere in there's God and all that good stuff that I don't understand, but I do know that the body should be broken down because that's where it came from.
And I agree with you completely. And like, so, you know, anytime an animal dies on my property, like wild animal, I mean, even animals that I own too, like my bearded dragon, she got buried by the foot of our deck. And I had planted some cantaloupe last year, not this year, last year. And it grew, but I was paying more attention to the flower boxes and not that one. So I didn't handle it, in a proper manner to where it didn't bear fruit. And then I turned over a lot of it because I was going to refelt it and put down like landscaping and mulch back in that area and redo it. And I let myself run out of time, and so I just covered it up. And what sprouted out? A cantaloupe that produced a fruit. Like,
Hey,
and like,
there you
so,
go.
and you know, we have a pool in my backyard, and we had a really bad vole problem for the past couple of years. And so like I managed to get rid of most of them. Like, dude, they were just terrorizing the yard. And
Oh
I
yeah.
was afraid of one going underneath my pool and messing up my liner. And so I was like, dude, I hate to do this, but I got to do something to protect this pool. So I put the traps. When one got, I wouldn't do it until it got like real close to the pool. So I put them close to the pool. And unfortunately, one day I'm driving on the lawnmower with my daughter and I see something squirm around. I'm like, oh man, is that a rat? What the heck? And then I see it and it's just this vole like kind of squirm around like, oh, dude. And I pulled out the spike from its head. It pretty much got a lobotomy, which like I
Oh
got my daughter to
man.
the front of the yard. I'm like, stay up here. Give me a minute. I got to go handle this. And so
Yeah.
I had to go and, you know, unfortunately relieve it of its pain. And I always make sure, like, and my daughter's like, "Are we gonna bury it?" I'm like, "Yeah. If anything dies on this property, we bury it on this property.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
it may not have been able to live its life and do its cycle there, but it's gonna give back to the earth in this way." And like,
Yeah.
so, and then like, I had an instance, unfortunately, where there was I've always had gardener snakes all over my yard. I back up to a forest reserve, so I get a lot of wildlife,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's a
Our
forest.
last house was like that too, dude. So much wildlife. We love it, dude. Wild turkeys and deer and snakes and all of it, dude. Raccoons, foxes, possums, dude. We have it all. At our old house, we just moved, but yeah, it was crazy there, dude. We'd have deer that come right up to the backyard and the front door and right out of our bedroom window and stuff. It was such an awesome. I love that house, dude. It was great.
It really is, and like, you know, I unfortunately ran over the mother gardener snake with the lawnmower, and we went and buried that one too. And then like we had a couple every year when we pull out the stairs, there's always one squirrel that that drowns himself. Unfortunately, the past 2 years,
man.
it's only been the past 2 years. We've had the pool for 5, so I guess it's not that bad. But it's like, dude, you don't see a way out. Get away from the thing. I don't know if it just slips in there or is like maybe thinking like, hey,
Yeah.
I can get out because the stairs are always in there. And then
Some animals choose to die, dude. I cannot stand when like a rabbit or a squirrel comes in front of my car, and every time like I'm willing to kill me and everyone else to save this little animal, and I'm like, why did I just swerve the oncoming traffic to save this suicidal bunny? Like, and the birds too, dude. Like the birds that come and like swoop right in front of your windshield. I'm like, you think this is a joke, don't you? Like you're playing with me right now. This is a game to you, but like I'm freaking out because I almost just killed you. You know, like
I'm convinced it's a game.
wild, dude.
I'm convinced it's a game. I really am
It is.
because it happens way too much for it not to be on purpose. Like
Yeah,
they
I
literally
think it has to do with like because the birds, you know, like they can fly obviously, but they love taking like the wind vortex, you know, and they love riding currents. So when a car is speeding down the road, it's creating that current behind it. So I think they love catching that current and then just flying with that current, like we like going down a slide. So I'm pretty sure that has something to do with it. But it's like you're playing a dangerous game here, bird.
You're playing Russian
I
roulette
killed a few
essentially.
birds by just smacking them in my car. Like it is what it is. Like there's nothing I can do about it. I'm driving 60 and you come flying in front of me. You're in my grill now, bro. Sorry, you know. But it's wild, dude. Some animals are just suicidal. Some people are about it.
Yeah, no, I mean I've definitely like I stopped swerving for squirrels because they're constantly I feel like testing their luck and like I'll hit the brakes if I can, but I won't swerve anymore for them. I just because it happens way too much and a lot of the time I always check my rearview mirrors to make sure like oh shit did I just run it over
All the time.
and I don't a lot of the times now that I've stopped swerving I don't hit them either and so it's like okay I think these
They're
guys
good.
got it down
They're good.
yeah.
They play this game. They do it. They do it.
It's animals are interesting, man. They really are. They will blow your mind when you give them the time to. You know, they each have a personality. They each can be grumpy. You just got to know when to back off. You know, just like a person. And so I've definitely enjoyed this conversation, man. We yeah, you did amazing. I mean, I obviously go off on my little tangents like always, but we should definitely do this again too sometime because I think I would like to check out some of the other lizards you have, and maybe we can get you over here and do an in person one because that's always a little bit more fun too.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I know I have your handles, but go ahead and give your little plugs for your socials, your Facebook and your Instagram, so people can find you.
Oh my god, dude! I'm a carpenter. I swing a hammer for a living, and I'm really done with this stuff. My wife has been amazing, and she helps me with all of this because I don't even know, dude. Like I think the Facebook is Clarity Creations.
Yep.
With Clarity Creations with no space. Because I remember if you put a space in it, it doesn't work. And I have my US Ark shirt. By the way, plug US Ark is the company that fights for our rights to keep these animals, right? They're the organization that they're literally all the way up in Congress in Washington D.C. They're an organization that fights per state and on a national level so we can keep animals, we can breed them, we can sell them, and we can hone them. There are people in this world that think owning goldfish is bad, that owning a snake is bad, that are owning a lizard is bad, and they want to ban this stuff. So US Ark is a company that fights for our rights as breeders, as keepers, as enthusiasts to have these animals. They do very, very important work for us to help legislation, and they are constantly finding, like, for example, during COVID, there was something called the Lacey Act, and that was going to be a new relief program. It was a 600 long page thing that they did, and somewhere in their 300 page section B, subsection 2, it said they were trying to ban all reptiles and the trade of them in a COVID relief thing. It was just some try to sub thing they passed. They were trying to pass in there under the table. Well, US Ark goes through, they hire people to go through these legislations that are trying to get passed, and then they vote on them. They get other people to write letters and stuff. They're very active, and they get those little amendments removed and voted on and taken out. So without US Ark doing what they do, we would never be able to own these reptiles. So it's very, very important to what they do. So yeah, shameless plug there. Like I love repping my crew, but if it wasn't for these guys, I wouldn't have a crew. So
No, that's awesome.
So But normally I have my reptile shirt on, and it's got a logo. It's a little reptile eye. It's got a white snake. It's the cow. It's the cow snake I was telling you about. That's the logo. It's a little reptile eye with a cow on it. Yeah, you got the card right there. Yeah. And then it's supposed to be it's supposed to be a gargoyle gecko on there. But the guy that I did it was a non-reptile guy, and I went back and forth with him like 6 times. And I'm a nice guy, so I was just like, all right, I'll accept it. But in my heart, it really bothers me that thing looks like a crested gecko and not and not a gargoyle gecko like it's supposed to. So as soon as it's justified and the company's making money, I'm gonna rebrand. We're gonna make a new logo. We're gonna we're gonna do things a little bit different. But for now, sorry, Facebook is Clarity Creations, and then Instagram is Clarity Creations 22. And that's like the only difference, I think. Yeah, the from the Instagram and the Facebook.
Yeah.
We have a YouTube. There's like 6 videos on it. I'm really, really looking for a social media video editor. You know, like I don't want to edit any pictures of my animals. I want them to be realistic. I want that, but like I really want to be able to put together like shorts and showcase the animals properly. So as soon as again the reptiles are making enough money, that'll be probably one of the first things we invest in is like a social media manager and a videographer and a video editor and stuff like that. Because I do want to get a YouTube. I do want to showcase my animals much more. We have amazing animals over here, and I can only do so much as a stupid carpenter. So I do want to take our company to the next level. That's one of the aspirations I have for the company is to hire a part-time, full-time guy to be like, boom, amazing videos, amazing pictures, constant daily, weekly posts on social media outlets and all that good stuff.
Oh no, dude, I'm sure. I mean, I know some people myself who might know a couple different people, like the guy who does Cross on Exotics. He has a girl that handles all that stuff for him. And then, I mean, if you wanted to start doing any of this stuff yourself, I mean, I do everything myself for this. And so I would not mind helping and showing you. It takes a little bit, but it's honestly, once you got it down, I can pump out a video in like 35 minutes. I don't do much editing though myself. Like I try to keep the video as raw as possible because I don't ever want to be looked at as someone who's like trying to manipulate a conversation or make a conversation look different than what it was. I want the raw stuff on there, and like even when I say stupid things, I'm like, whatever I said sounds stupid, you know.
Yeah, it's fine. It's some fun with the conversation. It's all right.
But when I'm asked to by a guest, I always will. And there's sometimes when like it's hard to get that matchup, but it takes a little bit. But once you get good at it, like you can just hear it. And so I think, I think you're cutting yourself a little short with how well you've done there and how organized you are and everything there. So I think you're doing great, and I think you have the intellect to accomplish at least getting yourself started. That way you can have an idea of what you want that you can't obtain, and then that gives you more of a kind of a narrowing of reference for who you would actually pick. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people that tell you they can edit video. Like I can edit video, but I wouldn't want someone paying me to do it because I don't. I feel like there's things you could ask me that I'd be like, oh, I don't know how to do that. You know what I mean? Like, and so to avoid that, you can see, okay, this is what I can do. I need someone that can go above that. You know what I mean? And so that way, and I'm sure, I mean, if your wife handles all your social stuff, she obviously has an aptitude for it a little bit. And so, where you fail, she'll pick up at. You know what I mean? And so it gives you a
she's great, dude. She's so much help. Without her, like, there would definitely be no Clarity Creations. Like, this is my dining room. I'm sitting at my kitchen table where my family eats dinner. If my wife wasn't amazing, this would never be happening.
Well, there you go.
She deals with a lot, dude. She's a saint.
There's a great woman behind every man, or something like that. What is there's something along those lines? I mean, unfortunately, we're too stupid to do stuff by ourselves. I mean, it's just inbred in us. But I definitely appreciate it. I would love to do this again. Like I said, I just enjoy talking about animals, and you are so enthusiastic about it. I know it'll be a good conversation. And so there's gonna be, if you want to send me over any pictures you have, or actually let me wrap it up first, and then I'll talk to you about that. Okay, well, thank you, folks. I appreciate you joining us for another episode of The Sound of Sosa. I have Dillen here from Clarity Creations. Like he said, his Instagram is Clarity Creations 22, and then his Facebook is just Clarity Creations, no space in either of those. And then I'm sure you can find him on there. And if you like any of the snakes that you see, reach out to him. Even if you just want to learn a little something, I'm sure he would help. He would rather tell you something than have you find some false information or wrong information. And again, just thank you for coming on. I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, dude. It was a lot of fun.
Always, always.